I'm glad to introduce Jim Stenstrom to you. He's a board member of the church that decided they were going to embrace this study of Let's Break the Rules and really endeavor to make it a cultural shift for the whole church, to lift the church as a whole. So Jim, as a board member and as a small group leader, what did you notice was the benefit of taking the training as a small group leader and the coaching that Dan Woodard offered?
Well, I think that, of course, the Let's Break the Rules material was new to all of us. And what we needed was to have our leaders really leading in the understanding of the material. And so by getting them together and having training, the quality of what they were doing and their abilities just noticeably increased. And their questioning techniques were better. And they actually had groups talking, and then they had to go from trying to get them talking to reining them in and not going off on every rabbit trail. And that's a skill.
Well, you know, when adults really get dialoguing like that, that's a very good sign that they're learning and they're really engaging. So that's a really good thing to see.
Yeah. Well, there's advantages to the training, though, is you need to have feedback. Sometimes people will share a challenge or a question they had that was kind of awkward to deal with. And right away, other leaders will jump in and say what seems appropriate. And again, it's a bit like iron sharpening iron. And it really works quite well. But I think the thing is, too, that we're human. We have our habits. And just that weekly training kept us on the ball, kept us focused. And that was encouraging. And then we prayed. We prayed for one another and the project that was before us. And so it was a time of focus, and that went on for the full 9 weeks. It was amazing. And not at any point did we ever feel that it wasn't worthwhile to get together. It was good.
In fact, you as leaders really initiated the leadership role. You as board members led a lot of these small groups. Maybe talk about that a bit.
Yeah, I think that you're right that affected the church in the sense that as the leadership of the church, we were saying, this is important. This is something we need to do. And of course, not just talking about it and delegating it, but we just jumped in there with our sleeves rolled up and led groups ourselves.
Excellent.
And I think that spoke a lot. And so the whole church perceived it as an important event in our church. And it wasn't just like the hobby horse of a smaller segment of the church that wanted to do something different. Mm-hmm. No, this was perceived as a church-wide endeavor. Mm.
Well, my role as a coach of facilitators is to make the job of facilitating a small group easy and fun. What the book talks about, our personhood. Who are we as people, as persons? There's no lack of biblical teaching on personhood, but people need a facilitator to lead them through this journey and to help them to work through the questions and work through the discussions. A facilitator who's never done this before would be wise to have a coach, just have a weekly meeting, and we can meet on Zoom.
So we encourage you, if you're considering buying this series, that you make this the most effective as possible, which means equip your leaders to do this well and to succeed and to know the joy of seeing transformation happen right in their small group.